And so I don't think it's up to us to do it all for them, and it's not up to the ETs to save everybody or the masters to come down and save everybody. It's really up to us to get on with it, our own evolution, and save ourselves.
Yeah, because that's what I found. They are not going to save us. They're watching because this is the greatest show on earth, but it is up to the person. Otherwise, how are you going to evolve if you have somebody else doing everything for you? How are you going to evolve and work out your own karma?
Exactly.
But it is going to be a very big event. And what I've been told in my work is, the earth is a living being. It is time for it to evolve. It will evolve, but it doesn't care whether it's going to take the human race with it or not. It will evolve on its own. And if we want to go with it, we're going to have to change in order to our vibrations to match it to go.
Mm-hmm.
But it's up to the individual how we're going to do this and how we're going to move forward.
Exactly. I always say resistance to enlightenment is futile,
Because it's going to happen either way.
Yeah.
Whether you want to go or you want to stay with the other. They said even those that are left behind, it's not going to matter because eventually they will go.
Mm-hmm.
This is all part of evolution. But do you want to wait and have to keep coming back again and again, working out more and more karma, or do you want to move on now? That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like, I always tell people that, we are the ones choosing. There are no chosen ones. The chosen ones are the ones who choose, to live in harmony with each other and the planet and evolve their souls and make their own personal connection with God, Creator, Spirit, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And, and it doesn't matter what culture you are or what religion you are. This transcends all of that. And once we understand that, we can start, understanding this unity consciousness, how we all, breathe the same air, we all came from the same source, we all return to the same source, and everything in between is just an illusion, Or
it is. I've heard that many times, and I've written about that. They said, This is just a game.
Yeah.
It's just a play, and it is an illusion, and we buy into that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. But I know every time I give a lecture on this, I have people coming up to me, and they're worried about it. Will I go? They're afraid of being left. And I've been told, if you are interested in this, if you realize something is happening, then you're almost guaranteed you will go. It's the other ones that are still steeped in negativity, doing the wrong things, although they say there is no good and there is no bad, it's all lessons. But they're steeped into this, and they're the ones that will have the problem. But people who know something is happening, it's guaranteed they're going to go.
Oh, yeah. I've just seen a tremendous, like a quantum leap just recently in the, might say, the collective consciousness, and it's really shifting fast. The energies are really shifting fast, and people are moving very, very quickly now. And, before it was like, beating on a rock, and nothing happened, and now people are just popping, very quickly.
Well, time is speeded up. Even the scientists have proved that time is moving faster than it used to.
Mm-hmm.
So when there's no time left to just fool around with it.
Yeah.
But another question a lot of the people ask me after a lecture, and they say, well, what about my husband? What about my children? Well, that's not their responsibility. Each one has to make their own decision.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take them with you. And when I've spoke at ashrams, I do work a lot with the Swamis and the Sivananda group of ashrams. I had one woman come up to me, and she said, but I think I'd want to stay. I'd want to be there to help the ones left behind with all the catastrophes going on. And I said, well, that's noble, but I've been told that when it happens, if your vibrations are at the right frequency, you're going to go. There's no way you could stay.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to do with vibrations and frequencies.
Yeah. It's not that's what I see. It's not a mental thing. It's the more love and joy and bliss you carry with you, the faster you're going to go, or the faster you're going to come into realization of all these events.
Well, I don't know where you want to go with this. At the end of my lectures, I always tell them, the two things that I've been told you must get rid of if you really want to go.
Mm-hmm.
The two things that will hold you back. Do you want to go into that now?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, give people some tools, so they can help them with this shift.
Okay, because that's usually when I end my lectures on, is they said there's two things that will hold you back. It doesn't matter how much you want to go, how much you want to go into this new world, and it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be extremely beautiful, unlike anything anybody can imagine. But if you really want to go, there is two things that will hold you back and keep you from going. The main one is karma. Because, see, we've been on Earth for thousands and thousands and probably millions of years, and we create karma. And a lot of the people that come to see me, they're in patterns of karma. They keep several lives, one after the other, where they're coming back with the same people, making the same mistakes, repeating the same pattern over and over again. They're in a rut. They're not getting out of their karma. They're not working it out.
Yeah.
And that's part of what I work with, because that's one of the things that makes people sick. The baggage and the garbage, I call it, that they carry around with them. And they have to get rid of that. Otherwise, that's what holds you to the earth, to the old earth, is this baggage and garbage. So the first thing you're going to have to do is realize that. If you don't work it out now with these people, you're going to have to come back again with the same people until you finally do work it out. It's just like a school. You can't go to the next grade. You finish this grade. So if they're still hanging on to the same things over and over with the same people, they can't go to the new earth. They're still tied to the old earth. And I tell them the first thing they're going to have to do is forgive and let go. These people they've been dragging around, they'll say, well, I don't want to come back and do it again with the same people. And I said, you better work it out now while you have a chance. Otherwise, this is the way the law of karma works. You will have to come back and do it again. And they say, well, how can I forgive them? You don't know what they did to me. See how they hang on to this stuff. That's the big problem. As I said, the first thing you're going to have to do is forgive them. Now, you don't have to do it face-to-face, because sometimes the person they're still angry at and holding on to this bitterness is they've already passed over. Sometimes all of the characters in the play have died, and yet the person is still miserable, hanging on to all of this karma. You don't have to do it face-to-face. You can do it on an unconscious level by communicating with the person and saying, well, for instance, you probably know, James, that when you come into a life, you make a review of your life you've just left. And you see what mistakes you made and what karma you have to repay. You make contracts with these people. And when you come into the new life, you have these contracts that this is what we will try to do. And you're more or less bound to them. Well, people get in here, they forget what they were coming in to do, and they're making the same mistakes again and again. So the first thing I have the person do is visualize themselves as they talk to the other person mentally, say, we tried, we really tried, it's not working. Let's tear up the contract. And then to mentally see yourself tearing up the contract with them and throwing it away. And you have to tell them, I forgive you, I release you, I let you go. You go your way, I go mine. We don't have to be connected anymore at all. And you have to really believe this. And when you do this, it's very powerful. And when you release them, they don't have any ties on you anymore. Everybody, they know how to push your buttons. People like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's a game to a lot of people. They want to push your buttons. They want to get you upset. But once you do this, there's something happens, and they can't push your buttons anymore.
Yeah.
So after a while, they just get tired of it because it's boring, and they stop playing. my work is, the earth is a living being. It is time for it to evolve. It will evolve, but it doesn't care whether it's going to take the human race with it or not. It will evolve on its own. And if we want to go with it, we're going to have to change in order to our vibration. Even those that are left behind, it's not going to matter because eventually they will go. Mm-hmm. This is all part of evolution. But do you want to wait and have to keep coming back again and again, working out more and more karma, or do you want to move on now? That's the thing. They're watching because this is the greatest show on earth. But it is up to the person. Otherwise, how are you going to evolve if you have somebody else doing everything for you? How are you going to evolve and work out your own karma?
Exactly.
But it is going to be a very big event. And what I've been told in my...
So I don't think it's up to us to do it all for them, and it's not up to the ETs to save everybody or the masters to come down and save everybody. It's really up to us to get on with it, our own evolution, and save ourselves.
Yeah, because that's what I found. They are not going to save us. They're to match it to go. Mm-hmm. But it's up to the individual how we're going to do this and how we're going to move forward.
Exactly. I always say resistance to enlightenment is futile, Because
it's going to happen either way.
Yeah.
Whether you want to go or you want to stay with the other.